Hey, what's up everyone? Today we have news on the latest success message. We'll go over a support member's discussion about bugs, PlayStation 5 Pro. I'll show you a cool mech glitch that you can do right now, and I'll cover much more. If you want to support the channel, consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on the daily news. We are going to start off and go over the support team members' discussion. The first one is worth mentioning. If you recall, the last Warbond was revealed on December 13th. It was unexpected, considering it was revealed right after the Illuminate patch. Typically, the devs give us a trailer a week before a Warbond is released. Now, will Arrowhead continue to stealth drop the next few Warbonds going forward? No, apparently that won't be the case moving forward. B-Vitamin, the support team member, replied to a Helldiver asking if Warbonds are usually stealth dropped, like the last one. B-Vitamin clarified that they're usually announced a week in advance, and that the last Warbond was an exception. The question now is, when will the next Warbond drop? Well, I might have an answer on that. We know from an interview in November that the CCO, Mr. Pilstead, confirmed they had changed the release schedule from every 4 weeks to 6 weeks. We also know that the Truth Enforcers Warbond was released on October 31st, and the Urban Legends Warbond dropped on December 13th, which is 6 weeks apart. Now, the next Warbond trailer could possibly be revealed on January 23rd, then next week it should be released on a Thursday, which would be January 30th. If everything goes smoothly for the developers, then that is when we can expect the next Warbond. When the trailer is revealed, we'll go over everything together, and it'll be fun. That aside, the next question is about misaligned capes. I haven't noticed it at all yet, but apparently there's a bug with it. There's a Helldiver who asked B-Vitamin if we're ever going to see the capes properly aligned. In response, the support team member wrote that the known issue list can't contain every single bug they're aware of. If it did, it would go on forever. However, the team acknowledges that there are numerous issues related to the misaligned gear. Overall, I don't think it's a big deal, right? But at the same time, if you're good at paying attention to detail, this might drive you nuts. And if so, I completely understand that. As of right now, one of the reasons why the capes don't align correctly, according to B-Vitamin, that there are so many different armors that it's hard to perfectly align them. And that makes sense. It's absolutely okay though. Plus, I'm sure they'll eventually resolve the misalignment. I believe there are more present issues that should be looked at instead of misaligned capes. For example, the supply pack bug, where the resupply backpack doesn't supply your stims to your teammates, and that should be fixed. This is a bug that's probably more important than the misaligned gear. Next up, we have a bug that's hard for the QA team to replicate. I'm not sure if any of you have experienced it. Nonetheless, there's a problem with the radar station. A Helldiver reported that the radar station spawned underneath the ground and wanted to know if it's been confirmed and if the team is aware of it. B-Vitamin, in response, said that it's been reported often, just like how the black box mission has a similar bug where it can spawn underground. Unfortunately, the QA team is having trouble reproducing it, and the radar station bug is just hard to detect. So basically, it's going to take time for them to get that patched. So with that being said, if you have had this happen to you recently, then I suggest sending any information you can to the support site. I'm sure the team would find it useful, and potentially we can get this issue resolved as soon as possible. Oh, and also, they're not only aware of that bug, but they also know about the fast Recon vehicle bug that can squash Helldivers on uneven terrain when the vehicle is stationary. B-Vitamin also confirmed that's been reported as well to this Helldiver. All in all, you can expect these bugs to be patched somewhere down the road, and I think the QA team is doing an excellent job nailing down these pesky bugs and getting them resolved. Not only is the QA team doing great, but the support team has done a phenomenal job at communicating and letting us know what's going on, and they've been doing that ever since the game launched, so that's awesome. On a different note, we have news about the latest major order. We've completed it, and with that, we also have a message briefing from High Command. If you're not near your computer or console, then allow me to read it and we'll discuss it after I'm done. Right here, the message briefing states, Terminid spore from the gloom has subsided, and the resultant bug expansion has been fully contained by the valiant Helldivers. The Helldivers were forced to make difficult choices to ensure the security of the Federation. The rapid Terminid advance left them with no choice but to sacrifice Sirius in order to save the citizens of Angel's Venture. As a result of the Helldivers' prudent risk of mitigation and tireless defense, losses in civilian life and property damage stayed within acceptable ranges. Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if it was a difficult choice for Helldivers, or if they simply skipped reading the dispatch, which made the decision difficult. As you all know, if we all collectively went to Heath, like the dispatch suggested, and liberated the planet, then we would have stopped 2 defense campaigns, which have cleared out Angel's Venture, Sirius, as well as Heath. If we make a similar mistake in the future, then I have a funny feeling we'll end up giving the Terminids, or the Automatons, or worse, the Illuminate, a shot at reaching Super Earth, and we can't let that happen. But hey, there's a positive outcome throughout all of this damage, right? We actually did lose some civilian life, but it wasn't that much. As you can tell at the end, it said that the losses in civilian life and property damage stayed within acceptable ranges. So overall, that's a positive outcome if you were to ask me, even if we didn't read the dispatch. It's completely okay. Side note though, if you're wondering about your medals, let's say that you popped in your ship and for some reason you didn't get your medals. There's a good reason for that. Right here, B Vitamin stated this in the Discord. When a major order is completed, sometimes it can take a while for the systems to finish distributing medals to every active account. There you go. So if just recently you haven't received your medals, there's a good reason for that. The system is taking time, more so the server is, right? It's trying to distribute all the medals, and eventually you will get your medals. It's just like the armor from previously as well, you know, when all the free armor dropped. So just give it time and you'll eventually receive it. Let's now continue forward with the video. What I have next to show you is an interesting yet fun glitch that you can do right now with the mechs. The developers have stated in the known issue list that there's a bug specifically when using your typing pad, as you can see right here. This is not only a bug with the fast Recon vehicle, it's also a bug with the mechs. What you can do is send down a mech of your choice and a support weapon. For instance, a flamethrower or a sterilizer. You can also use other weapons like your primary or secondary. It honestly doesn't matter. Nevertheless, once you have both the mech and your support weapon in front of you, you're going to pick up your support weapon, head towards the mech, get inside, and at this point, we want to open up our typing pad. So tap whichever button or key it is for you to type in the bottom right corner of the chat. If you fire your weapon, it will actually shoot out the backside. To correct this, you'll want to use a stim. Then you'll be able to shoot forward with whatever weapon you had equipped before entering the mech. This works well with a flamethrower, sterilizer, and most of the primary weapons. However, don't do this with a laser cannon or an explosive weapon, as you might end up blowing up the mech instead of shooting forward. Also, this does work on the fast Recon vehicle, although you won't be able to turn the machine gun around and shoot your primary, secondary, or support weapon. Now, there are several Helldivers talking about this on Reddit, and I wasn't sure how they were shooting forward until I figured out it was due to the stims. It's not a game-breaking glitch at all, like the infinite grenade glitch from a while ago, if you guys recall that one. Yet, at the same time, it can be quite useful if you use it on enemies. There is one problem with this, though. If you run out of ammo, you're going to have to exit the mech to reload your weapon, and I'm sure this will be patched soon enough, you know, since the developers have mentioned it in the known issue list. Alrighty, speaking of developers, we do have a little bit of responses here from Safez, the game director, which he's also a developer, or was at one time. Anyhow, he just revealed why the DSS is down. It's actually due to the Illuminate. So let's start off with this first discussion here. Someone asked, you know, what's going on with the DSS essentially, and in response, this is what he said. It's undergoing maintenance and improvements. Then another Helldiver responded to him saying, will there be an MO to liberate it so the downtime makes sense in game? And Safez wrote back and said, the reason it's down was because it suffered catastrophic system failures due to the Illuminate invasion. On Super Earth, engineers are doing their best to restore it to a fully operational status again. There you go. You have a story behind the DSS, as well as you know the truth, right? They're actually working on it behind the scenes, and they're doing a bunch of stuff to it, and I can't wait to see what happens, you know? Eventually, they're going to cook up something really good with the DSS, and it's going to be amazing. Now, before that response, there's actually another Helldiver that asked about a DSS common area where more than 4 Helldivers can hang out, so basically a social hub, if I could say that right. And in response, basically Safez said that there's more important things to work on, and they're not working on that currently, which that makes sense. Now, the game director's last response can be seen here in just a few seconds, but a player wanted to know if maybe they could change the extracting for the Mega Nest eggs or the Fortress head so that we get 15 SC, which is super credits of course. In response, the game director wrote back and said, hey, interesting idea. The tricky thing still though is that even though it seems like a small change due to the massive amount of players we have, it'll have a big impact at scale. If you have 10,000 people gaining an extra 10C during each extract, then that's 10,000 extra SC people aren't purchasing, meaning we get less revenue to reinvest into the game. Then multiply that by several missions every day across multiple months of time, and you'll end up with huge numbers. Okay, this right here is not a bad idea, but what I recommend or suggest is maybe not SC or super credits, but But instead, you know, earn these eggs, right? So you get enough eggs, you can then spend that on certain items. Maybe just like a different type of Warbond or something, right? Where you use eggs instead. Maybe that's not something you want, but I think it would be cool. We're now going to put aside the news discussion, and we're going to talk about your suggested loadouts. If you guys want to be featured on the channel, all you have to do is comment down below of what you like to use. Today we have a loadout from Ninja Strike, and what we're going to be using is the Adjudicator for piercing through armored enemies. We've got the grenade pistol for blowing up a bunch of enemies that are grouped together. We're going to be using the gas grenade as well, so that way we can confuse enemies and then use the grenade pistol. We're using the 500 kg bomb and the napalm barrage. We've also got the airburst rocket launcher for destroying a bunch of enemies all together. And then lastly, the eats just for destroying, you know, Bile Titans. And we've also got those pesky chargers or behemoths. Overall, not a bad loadout at all. And I think this one is pretty good too, because you got the armored penetration, you got the grenade pistol for blowing up buggles, you got gas grenades to confuse enemies, and all of the stratagems are great together. But yeah, solid loadout. 5-star. I always give these loadouts 5 stars, man, because you guys never recommend any bad loadouts. Last but not least, we are going to be going over the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys want to be featured, all you have to do is comment down below. The first top comment is from Evil Jackson. We need Liberty drink. Yes, indeed. Either in real life or in game. You know, I actually suggested to you, maybe we need to get a vending machine that we can use our samples on, or maybe our requisition slips to purchase a drink and actually get a buff from it. The second comment is from Mr. Skeletal. Not samples, but let me spend my requisitions on vending machines throughout the map. Give me ammo, super soda for stamina, anything. It'd just be fun to spend rec on them. LOL. Yep, that actually is kind of funny that you commented that, because that's kind of what I suggested previously. Last but not least, we have Lord Beerus 462. Awesome username, by the way. You wrote, I'd buy a Super Earth flag if they made one to support the company, fly it out in front, make my neighbors leave me alone a bit more. Hell yeah, dude, me too. I actually want one now that you actually recommended that. I think that would be cool if they were to sell it. Now, those are the top 3 comments. I'm actually going to show you all of the comments from previously, just to give you all a shout out and feature you on the video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. Give this video a like if you can by tapping the thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.